Welcome to Ready, Set, Kindergarten, a short podcast by Chattanooga 2.0 for parents of rising kindergartners in Hamilton County, Tennessee. We're here to share helpful, real-world advice from local experts that you can trust. Today's podcast topic is conversation starters, how parents and caregivers can get their kindergartners talking about their day and their new experiences once they get in the car after a really long day at school. I'm your host, Jennifer Andrews, and I am both a mom of a rising kindergartner and the director of early childhood strategies for the nonprofit Chattanooga 2.0. For the last 2.5 years, our organization has been working with community partners to equip parents of rising kindergartners like you with tips and tools to set your children up for success in school and life. Dr. Beth Capici is a private practice psychologist from Grounded Counseling who has been practicing locally for 22 years and works with adolescents and adults across a variety of issues. Valencia Harris is the coordinator of family and community engagement for Hamilton County Schools. She has a background in early childhood education, is a former kindergarten teacher, and a staff trainer for early childhood professionals. She is also the proud mother of 3 kids. To read our experts' full bios, see the podcast description. Now we're going to dive in and let the experts tell us what they know. We're going to hear from local psychologist, Dr. Beth Capici. Dr. Beth, thanks for being here today.
I'm happy to be here.
So I have a 7-year-old, and my husband notices that often when he picks my son up from school or camp, that my son just doesn't want to talk about his day and would rather sit in silence in the car. And this frustrates my husband, who wants to talk to him about his day. And with the thousands of rising kindergartners starting school for the first time this year in just a few weeks, I know that there will be other parents who are probably frustrated by this, who want to talk to their kid about their new experience. So is my son's behavior normal, and do you have any tips for caregivers who want to know about their child's day but are met with silence or cranky attitude in the car or when they get off the bus?
Yes. First of all, I think in a weird way that's a compliment because we are their safe place and they don't have to fake it. They don't have to force it. And I heard the woman that wrote Untangled talks about this with teenagers in a very beautiful way. Her name is Lisa D'Amour. It's like a French name. But I think this could apply to any human at any age because you think about being in stressful meetings all day, and at that age, that's a long day, like a 7 or 8 hour day. And they're hungry, they're tired, they've been trying to concentrate, behave, and they can get in the car and not have to try, and they can just be silent and get what they need. So I think that's part of that safe space. I think it's great for parents to ask, but I'm just making this up, but I would guess at least half the kids, if not 3/4, would rather not talk about it right now.
Right.
And once they have a snack, once they have some time to themselves, you could say, "Oh, sweetie, I bet you're tired," and no pressure at all. If you want to tell me about it later, maybe at dinner, like what was the best and worst thing that happened to you, or, that would be great. But it's nothing personal, and really, it's actually a compliment because they don't have to fake it, and they can just be themselves. And that, sometimes kids will feel guilt-tripped, or the parent will take it personally, and they're like, I can't listen to my own body's need to rest. I need to produce something to make my parents happy, or else they won't like me as much, or they'll be mad at me. So I think that kind of unconditional love of, sweetie, listen, if you're tired, it's okay. I would love to hear about your day, but you've got to listen to your body because you're the only one in your body. And if you're exhausted, then pay attention to that. Recharge your battery,
That's a great lesson. Kids are on all day, and then they can come home to their safe space and their families and relax a little bit. Snacks being pretty key there too. I know from experience the snacks are pretty helpful.
Yeah, a lot of kids get very hangry. I mean, my youngest daughter just turned 16 last week, and there have been some times I'm like, man, she is being mean. As soon as she eats, it's like she snaps back into her normal self.
Yeah, but there's something about those Snickers commercials, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Valencia. So we know that parent engagement is really important, but many parents are all too familiar with the scenario where you ask your child what they did at school today, and the answer is nothing, or you ask them, how was your day? And they say, good. Can you talk to me about why kids give one-word answers and how their caregivers can get them talking about their day so that parents can feel connected or offer support?
Sure. This is a really common question. And as a mom of school age children, I can also relate. Um, while the transition to kindergarten is super exciting, it can also be a lot for young learners to process. They're now navigating new routines and social dynamics along with academic experiences, and it's happening at the same time because they're still developing their language skills. It's not always easy for them to fully articulate everything that has happened in their day. So when we ask broad questions like, how was school? They might genuinely not know where to start, or they feel tired, or they just have difficulty sifting through the day's events. This is where we as parents can scaffold for them. That means giving them a little extra support to help build the language and confidence they need to share more information. One of the best ways to do this is by asking them open ended, specific questions that focus on particular parts of their day. For example, instead of asking, how was school? You might try, what did you do in math today? Or who did you sit next to at lunch? Or what was your favorite thing about recess? Or maybe even, did you read a story today? What was that story about? Questions like these help jog their memory and give them a clear starting point to talk from. The hope is that over time, as they get used to this kind of conversation, they'll begin to open up more naturally on their own. Keep in mind, it is also okay if they're not ready to talk right away. Sometimes they just need process time or a little bit of space. Um, so it might be helpful to revisit the conversation later in the day once they've had time to decompress. So you might go back to this conversation at dinner time, or if you're taking an evening walk together, or if you're playing outside or spending family time, that may be an opportunity to revisit the conversation and they may have more information to share.
If parents wanted other ideas, are there resources out there that exist to help in this area?
Yes, this is a good question. There are actually some wonderful resources out there to support parents in building stronger communication with their young learners. One really great place to start is with parenting blogs and early childhood education websites that focus on child development and communication strategies. Children's.com offers an article that is titled How to Ask Your Kids About Their Day. It includes 4 tips and a list of conversation starters. KidsGuideMagazine.com also offers a list of 72 really clever conversation starters that are divided into categories such as learning and subjects, recess and play, lunchtime, friends, classmates, and teachers. And they even offer a list of general questions that ask things like, what did you do that was creative today? In addition, there are other resources offered at understood.org, mightier.com, Boys and Girls Club at bgca.org, and even games such as Table Topics, the Kids Edition, that offer questions to start meaningful conversations with your kids. I would say that the key is consistency, patience, and creating a safe space for your child to share. And hopefully, over time, those one word answers will grow into full stories about their school day.
Those are some great tips. Thank you.
Thanks.
For more quick tips and resources to support your rising kindergartner, like videos and an activity booklet, visit www.chatt2.org/K-ready. And remember, with every story you read, skill you teach, or hug you give, You are the first and most influential teacher your child will ever have. Thank you for listening to the Ready Set Kindergarten podcast. And a huge thank you to the Chattanooga Public Library for allowing us to use their recording space and our local experts.